Welcome back to C Turbotics channel. Let's have a little talk today. What we're going to talk about is the lower unit. I had taken my boat out on its maiden voyage, and right before I had done that, I had replaced the water pump in my lower unit with a Sierra part that I had ordered online. Immediately after putting the water pump in, I had this whining noise coming from the lower unit. And mind you, I've never had this boat in the water, and it's never made that noise before. So I was a little concerned, but at the same time stubborn and excited about taking the boat out for the first time. Come to find out, when I took the boat out for the first time, that I had my idle and timing and everything distributor all jacked up because I was fighting it here and I had changed things. Everything that I had done in my videos before were correct, but I had modified those things to get it to run to what I seemed correct, and come to find out they never were. But the maiden voyage showed that quickly. It wouldn't idle. I had to crank. I couldn't get it in gear, and it wouldn't accelerate. It was a fun trip. My wife enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, but at the same time, there was a lot of other things that presented themselves that I needed to address. The first thing was fixing the motor, and if you see my video before this, that I'm tweaking it right now. I had set it all back. All my link and sync is done, and I have it all the way that it's supposed to be right now, and it seems to be running a lot better, but I'm having an issue with shutting it off and starting it back up. I have to use the idle lever to fire it back up, which I shouldn't have to. It should be pressurized. It should fire by itself. Now I don't know what that means, but right now I just kind of want to take a look into this lower unit because that whine was there, and I come to find out that when I was working on it, I would get water streaming from the telltale, but once the motor would start, the water would stop. So I did a little investigation of the water pump, and there's obvious problems going on. One of the biggest ones is that the key is actually rubbing on the stainless faceplate on the water pump down the bottom, and it's not supposed to do that. So I have been asked to make a quick video kind of looking into this thing, and before I go much further, I just want to point out some obvious things that I've noticed just over the past day. So let me show you something. I had this lower unit laying on its other side yesterday, and the first thing that I noticed is that I have oil, which looks to me to be smells like lower unit fluid, leaking out of that hole right there, and that hole passes through here, and if you look up in there, you can see I'm shining the light in there. So I'm somehow, some way getting oil down there. I don't know how. Haven't gone that far yet. Second thing was that I was concerned that this water pump base was not down completely. I want to kind of, let me get you down here, get you in a little bit closer. If you look in there, you can see that thing's seated completely down, it looks to me. Just the gasket holding it different there. I can't tell if that's true all the way across or not by looking down here, because you can't really see in there. Maybe a mirror might help me. There's a significant amount of carbon in here, which, that motor probably had a lot of stuff inside it that I didn't get to. The second thing is, let me put this here so you can hear this. Just point out that some of these have a, come on, focus. Focus on the task at hand. There you go. That's the end of the drive shaft. Some of them have a pin in them, a spring-loaded deal. Mine does not. At least I don't think it is. It's greasy as all can be, because I always grease it when I put it back in, which I was told is good practice, but you know, who knows? It's good practice. All right. Next is I have a noise coming from here. I don't know how well you can hear this because my fucking air conditioning's running. It's squirrel caging in there. It's coming. It's very gear kick clicky, I guess you want to call it. Now, another question it was asking me was, does the drive shaft move this way and this way? I'm gonna say no. I have no movement up and down. It's my personal opinion. Thirdly, I was asked, is there oil in this thing? Well, I'm gonna guess so if we're leaking, but let's slide over here and let's take a look at the drain and see what kind of fun contaminants are in there. Come on. I'm trying to get my camera to zoom in, but it's not. Oh, because you're an idiot. That's why. You go the other way. T, not W. Alright, let's zoom into the, not the fucking bench. There's where we want to go. Okay, let me pull that open. Take a gander at it. Yes, I know the lower unit's not sitting up the correct way it's supposed to, but at this moment in time, oh yeah. So we gotta, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's see what we got here. I've got a nice little slew of goo. Let's roll that off on my fingers. There's definitely some metal in there. This is very gray. Very, very gray. I mean, you can see it sticking to the end of the magnetic thing. So the next question we have is, what does this oil look like? And mainly, is it milky? Do I have water in the oil? So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna use this wonderful, don't you love my setup here? Isn't it great? Isn't it nice to work in these kind of situations? Move you over here so we can get a look straight down on it. I'm gonna dump that turd right on that white so we can really see what it looks like. Those are badass flashlights, by the way. Real cheap, man. If you have a Costco near you, get one. I'll do a little review on this thing later. So does it have fluid is the question. Let's see. Yes, it does. How much? Not sure. And let's take a look at the fluid. Okay. I don't see evidence of water. Me personally, this looks like good, fairly decent oil, with the exception of that metal. Now, with that being said, you know, the metal could be from a lot of things I was having it idling really, really high on my maiden voyage to get it back. I don't know how much fluid's in there. That's another video. So I'm gonna pass this on to my buddy, and we'll see where we go from here. Ooh, fancy suspension trick. That was fun to do by myself. All right, so what I got going on here is I got the lower unit draining. So this is a very small, this is not a full-size roller pan. This is a what I call a Slim Jim, or they call them mini rollers. It's an old one. It's been sitting here for a while, so figured it would give me a good indication other than a drip pan to show me how much fluid I got in there. And I spilled a little bit, but not too much. It doesn't look like that much is in there. I'm gonna say, you know, maybe a quart of fluid. I don't know. I'm gonna let it drip out, and then I'm gonna dump it into a measuring cup, and we're gonna see how much is in there. Okay, so I got this cup. It's 32 ounces. Don't mind the chunks, they came from the pan. I didn't clean it out. So my wild guess there is that I've probably got 20 ounces in there. No, maybe 16 ounces. I think that's a quart, isn't it? I'm not sure, can't remember. A little milky. I don't know if that means that there's water in there or not, but we'll go from here and see if I got to tear into this thing or not.